Hello everybody, today we are going to demo how to finish a long pose figure drawing. Welcome to Art Prof, we are a global art party. Now this is a drawing that I actually started on 2 live streams in Art Club. You're seeing my 3rd session on this drawing, and there's a lot of proportional things that I saw before the stream. I think I'm going to get right into that because I'm already seeing that the torso is not wide enough. And it's a lot of tweaks like that when you've been working on something for a while. And I'm noticing that one of the things I did was I didn't make the torso wide enough at the top. It might look a little wonky as I'm making some of these changes, but you sort of never stop doing this when you're in the middle of a long pose drawing. It sort of never ends, but that's okay. Because sometimes you think, oh, well, I have worked on this for so long, everything is settling in. It's like, actually, no, there's a lot that has to get done even this far in. And I know the stream is called How to Finish a Drawing, but I don't think I'm going to finish today, everybody. When you work on a figure drawing for this period of time, it's just, I think it's harder. Tell me in the comments, how many people think that a long pose drawing can be harder than a short pose drawing? Because the reason I did the stream in Art Club was because I used to teach a class at School of the Museum of Fine Arts. It was a class that was given to me. I didn't make up the class, but it was called Long Pose Drawing for the Figure. And we basically had a model pose for 6 hours, 3 hours in the morning, 3 hours in the evening, and we would draw the figure that whole time. I had to get inventive because at a certain point, people start to feel like there's nothing to do. And so this was a technique that I had a lot of students do, which was put down the tone with charcoal and then add in the cross-hatching over it. And I really like the effect of it. I think it's got a really different sense of depth that I don't think just straight charcoal does as well. Yeah, I think I'm going to move this all the way over. I think it's not wide enough. So if I widen both arms, I think that'll help. Also, do you guys like Buddy's contribution? Like usually he'll sit next to my drawings that are, of course, I know my fault. They're on the floor. But anyway, this time he plopped his whole body right on top. And now there is this horrible smudging that is everywhere. Whatever. I'm doing some squinting because I want to reevaluate things. There's something about this, like I still think it's not far out enough. But then that makes me think that I probably have to widen the deltoid muscle, which is the one up here. Tell me in the comments, how was your week? What did you accomplish? Did you have any wins? Did you have anything that felt like a bummer? Doesn't have to be art related, can be something completely different. But that is one thing I like about these streams, is it's a nice check-in time for everybody. Oh gosh, this is too short. Ugh. This is that difficult point. It's like you just find yourself drawing things so many times. Because of course now I'm going to lower this, but then that means that this negative space is now too small. but I might just let it be because it's a demo drawing. I don't have to be super uptight about it. Okay, so here I'm lowering this arm. And by the way, everybody, a reminder that if you would like to draw along with me, you are welcome to share your stuff in the Discord, in the Art Alongs channel, and I'll give you a shout out. Actually, I'm going to move this over. That pectoralis major, I think it could be a hair wider. I think that'll help the chest. So oftentimes when I come back to a drawing, it's just this for a little while. Coming in, fixing the things that I see right away, and then diving back into the other things. Kneaded eraser. I'm so happy that people sent me kneaded erasers because the one I have is kind of dead. I think that helps, but now the neck needs to be a little bit wider, but I'll come back to that because actually the first thing I really want to fix is this is all too bright. So I think I want to go in with my compressed charcoal. I'm just going to do a light pass over everything because I did not do such a great job on the highlights last time. And notice that I'm using vine charcoal, not vine charcoal, compressed, compressed charcoal, that's what I meant. And I'm just going to do a quick smudge. And I know I got rid of a lot of things, but I think the color is very important at this stage. And I'm looking at, well, let me do some of the bigger spots first. Like that's a bigger highlight. And then you can see a little bit of his sternum. Oh my gosh, speaking of sternums, I was watching ER because it's soapy and silly and fun. Who here watched ER? Remember that? That was one of the first shows that George Clooney was really famous for. Anyway, they do surgeries on ER, and I was laughing because there was this one point, they're like, we have to crack open her sternum, and I was like, oh, I know exactly what they're talking about. Yeah, it's pretty funny because sometimes they talk about the anatomy and I'm like, oh, you guys are doing a fibula transfer? I know exactly what that is. I mean, not the surgery, but I know where the fibula is. It's fun. Anatomy comes into play sometimes. I mean, really what I think I need to do is just significantly darken a lot of the shadows. Like I was sort of conservative about the shadows last time. How many people here have done a figure drawing that takes this long? Because this is a different challenge. This is not the same thing as doing a gesture drawing. And I think sometimes people think, okay, well, if I have so much time, that's got to be easier. And I disagree. I think sometimes when you work on a drawing for this long, it can actually end up looking quite tired. Like you have to find ways to keep it fresh. And that's one of the challenges. So that's why I add the cross-hatching element, because it's sort of like it gives you something to do when you feel like you don't know. Yeah, I totally got rid of all that cross-hatching that was there to begin with. Oh well. Okay, and I'm really looking closely at the type of shadows. Like this one up here is pretty pronounced. This one's just like a slight little sliver on the side of the pectoralis. And there's even a few like little wrinkles here. Drop that in. Because I found that to be the case when I was teaching the class. It's just, it was such a struggle for people to maintain their attention on the piece, because I think you do get a certain point where you think, well, what do I do now? How do I keep working on this? I feel like I've done the whole thing. And it's not so much that people should draw that way, but I think it's a good experience to have if you've never worked on a drawing, to try to understand, okay, well, what would be the next step if I decided to work on it some more. Now, I'm going to press down pretty hard today. I didn't really do that during the art club stream because I was trying to hold off and keep things going. But now in retrospect, that was kind of dumb because now I just drew over all of the cross-hatching that I did last time. And now it's like, oh, what was the point? I did all that cross-hatching and now it's gone. It's a little silly. Let me zoom in. I'm going to work on these abdominal muscles for a while. Okay, just let me change my camera a little bit. I'm going to go down a little further. Okay. But before I get to that, let's take a look at what you guys are saying in the comments. Kieran says, struggles so much with gesture drawings, always delving into too much detail. I would just say zero detail. Detail's the kiss of death in a gesture drawing. And I also think sometimes an issue people have with gesture drawing is very worried that it doesn't look like a figure. It's not recognizable as a figure. But you know what? In a gesture drawing, it really should not be. A lot of my gesture drawings that are fairly fast, they don't look like people. They look like a bunch of shapes and lines. And that's okay. Like sometimes people will draw in really specific things like the hair and the eyes. And in a quick gesture drawing, that's not what you want to be looking for. You want to look at things like the tilt of the torso, the big stuff. And so I would just say, if you tell yourself, okay, no eyes, no strands of hair, because the face is largely defined by the jawbone and the cheekbones. Like that's what you should be drawing. Like in a quick gesture, you don't need to do facial features. 414 says, went to Milwaukee, had a class. It was difficult to do figures. Shadows are a lot of thought and perception. I think it's really worth it, if you haven't everybody, to do some study on lighting. How many people here feel like you have looked into the mechanics of how light works? Because you can understand light from an observational point of view. You can say, okay, I see highlights here, I see shadows here, but to understand why those highlights fall the way they do, that's a whole other thing. Because lighting makes or breaks the piece. I get really grouchy if I'm at a life drawing group and they don't have a light in the model. It drives me crazy. And that's something that I'm always thinking about in terms of articulating something. I love this, Ginger. I love when drawings are just mush, but you can tell what it is by the feeling. Yeah, a human figure is not about individual muscles. It's about the whole feeling of that person. And that's what gets lost a lot, is people almost treat it like a mannequin, but it's like ultimately you're drawing a person. And if it doesn't feel like a person, it just becomes very mechanical. Alexandria says, I have a bad habit of overworking pieces, try to be conscious of how and why I keep going. That's a good way to go. I also have a question for everybody. We use that word overworking quite a bit, but I actually think in some ways that's a word that can be really frustrating because it insinuates that there's no coming back, that I've overworked it, I can't do anything about it. But really, it's not that you've overworked it. It's just that you're still working on it. How many people here feel like, oh God, it's the point of no return if I've overworked it? Because I've noticed in my conversations with people, often when they say to me it's overworked, I'll look at it and I'll say, no, you just have to work on it more. So I'm curious because that is a word that we all use quite a bit to talk about our progress in drawing. George says, ooh, went to the Yale British Museum for an exhibit of Turner. Okay, last time I was at the Yale British Museum, I took my RISD class there to go to the print room. That's when you go to the print collection and the curators will come out and show you prints like right in front of your face with no glass. But I remember there is a wall at that museum. It's just paintings of clouds by Turner. I loved it. And the paintings weren't that big. A lot of them were painting studies. But I remember that they had a fantastic collection of Turner paintings when I was there. 10K had a big win, found a silent book club. Perfect, because I like being around people, but I'm introverted. It was a good way to be social without socializing. I would like to have some situations like that. Okay, so my other confession for this week is that I am going, well, this part is not the confession. It'll come up soon. I'm going to Tennessee next week, actually tomorrow morning, to teach at the Tennessee Arts Academy. It's basically summer camp for teachers, and they have a visual arts portion. So I'm going to be teaching some classes about design and 3 dimensions. We're going to do projects on chipboard sculptures, styrofoam cup sculptures. Some of you guys may have seen them. They're on our site. Those are all materials and demos that I have done here in the past. But I should show you guys. This big catalog came in the mail, and it was big and shiny. And I'm like, what is this? So I opened the catalog, and it's a catalog for the entire week. And maybe I just like did not read things, but I looked at this giant brochure and I went, oh my gosh, this program is so much bigger than I thought. And I'm reading through the schedule, and it's like convocation and teachers conference. I'm like, oh my God, I have not been around that many people in a really long time. And my head just started exploding because I was like, oh my God, I have to, it's like a wedding where you have to like go and sit with people at tables. I'm like, oh, I'm sure the teaching part will be fine, but that socializing thing, like, I don't know anybody there, and it'll be fine. I'm just like complaining a little bit. Minette says, I've been very depressed this week. July is a rough month at the best of times for me. Well, I'm so sorry to hear that, Minette. I hope things settle down for you more, but thank you for sharing, because while we have wins and I love celebrating them, sometimes we're just really having a hard time, and that's okay. Randy says, week was okay. Trying something new with my arts practice in terms of routine. Well, I'd love to hear what that routine is, Randy, because you make those wonderful lists that you post in Art Club, and I always look forward to reading those. Okay. And Jen says, currently studying color and light. It's fascinating. Yeah. We were talking about lighting, but color adds a whole other dimension to that, which is completely different. And I will check in on the Discord in a little bit. I just want to get a little further along with this. I still feel like I'm making it way too light. Ugh. Maybe I should spend some time with the colored pencil, not colored pencil, with the charcoal pencil, and majorly build things up. Because I think last time it's like I didn't make it pronounced enough, and now I'm kind of paying for it. But yeah, tell me, so I feel better, everybody. Tell me the last awkward social situation you were in and what that was like. I feel like weddings are like prime places for awkward situations where you're just like stuck at a table and you can't do anything about it. And it's like, it also depends on the wedding though, because like we went to Jordan's wedding and that was like super fun because we all got to sit together and I got to reconnect with one of my former students, and that was a really fun wedding. But I've also been at weddings where it's like, oh my God, get me out of here, please. This is very, very painful. I'm really trying to tame the highlights. I think I just let the day too light for too long, and now it's like I have to completely reorganize the way I do all the lighting for the rest of the piece. But hopefully building up with the charcoal pencil is going to help me quite a bit with that. Yeah, like see this? That's way too much. Hang on, I know you guys can't see it. I just want to fix this one thing before it gets in my way. Yeah, because in the beginning, obviously you don't want to go super dark, but then at a certain point you realize, oh wow, I really need to do that if I want anything to make sense. I mean, one advantage I have working at home, it's like I have to be around people. I'm sorry, I wouldn't mind being around you guys, but you know what I mean. Like, I went to go pick up my kid at school once, and it just brought back all this stuff where I was like, oh my gosh, I remember being in school and having to be around these people all the time. And it's like, now I don't have to do that. It's really nice. College was better, but I don't know. It's just like seeing people that much all the time, every day. I don't know. For me, it gets exhausting. Maybe I'm just complaining. We all need to complain, right? Yeah, tell me in the comments, what kind of job do you have? Like, do you have a job where you have to talk to people all the time? Because Manette mentions here that she doesn't like that. Or is it one where you don't and you just do your thing? But see, here's the thing, like to me, it really depends on who you're talking to. Because when I taught at RISD and all these other art schools, like I didn't mind talking to students. Like that was fine. It's just like, ugh, other faculty. Sorry. It's true though. Sorry about that. Like that to me is painful, having to be around other faculty. I mean, I had a few faculty friends, but I don't know, there's some people I really did not like and I really did not want to spend time with, but sometimes it's like unavoidable. Like I had this one Spanish teacher I taught at this school. This is when I was teaching elementary, and I always had to pass by her desk when I walked up the stairs because her desk was in the hallway, which I'm sure wasn't fun for her. But she did not like me, and it was always really awkward whenever I walked by because, like, I would say hi because I think it's kind of rude not to, but it was always like, ugh, like really, really cringy. And I did not like that experience. It's like every day I had to do that. Ugh, not fun. Okay, well, there goes all the cross-hatching that I put in there. Let me make my camera a little darker. I think it's a little too bright. Okay, yeah, that looks a lot better. So, I'm sure people will be nice there. I'm not doubting that, but it's just like, it's not common that I'll go to a place where I know nobody. Usually, you know, it's like the wedding or it's some other thing I'm doing, and it's like kind of okay because you're like, okay, I know some people, but it's like when you don't know anybody, that's not going to be fun. I'm being a lot more aggressive with the pencil now because I'm realizing that it just isn't robust enough. You know something? Usually I'm not a huge fan of charcoal pencil, but I think for this figure, it actually is helping me out a lot. And I'm being way more smudgy than I usually am, but I think I need it for this torso, for that to work out. And there are highlights, but I think I made them way too dramatic last time. I mean, I do love this torso. It's like really beautiful and dramatic, but it's hard. Let's do some eraser stick work. I feel like that got really bulgy. I think I just need to make that one smaller. Yeah, I need to really press. I did not do that last time. Although, one nice thing about it is I teach my class during the day, and then when you're done, you can just do other things. I was looking up things to see in Tennessee, but I don't think I'm really going to have time for that because I will be not finished until like 5, so I think a lot of stuff will be closed by then. I was kind of curious about Graceland. Now, I am not a huge Elvis fan, but just as a like American thing to go and see. Okay, let me zoom out a little bit because I want to do a little more. And I know I'm neglecting that foot, but I really want to show you guys this part of the process where we just get to see things go further along. Okay. Okay. I don't know. It's like people say to me, well, you're really close to being done. I'm like, oh my God, not even close. So much work has to be done. There, I'm getting rid of Buddy's contribution. I'm so stupid. That was 100% my fault. The thing about pets, though, it's like you can't get mad at them. It's sort of like a baby. Like, you can't get mad at a baby. Can't help it. Not their fault. I just feel like when I'm doing a long pose like this, it's just so much back and forth. It's like you take it away, you put it back, you lighten it, you darken it, you lighten it. It's a lot of that, which I think can be very frustrating. All right, have we filled the chat with awkward moments, everybody? Does anybody here like to socialize? Like, for real? Is there anybody here who's like, oh yeah, I love meeting new people? I mean, I guess I do. I do, but the social anxiety is really getting to me. Like, I was actually feeling very anxious this week because of that, because I'm going to a place where I don't know anybody. And I'm sure everybody will be fine and lovely. I don't know. I'm just a weirdo. It's kind of nice to go in really strong with the colored pencil, and I'm smudging so much more than I typically do. That's quite different for me to do that so much. And actually, the deltoid is not round enough. Like, I notice his deltoid is really unusual. It's very round. Like, usually deltoids are not that round, and this is quite different. So I feel like that threw me off a little bit at first. And the lighting is a little bit confusing here as well. So a lot of this is like, okay, I darken some of the highlights, but that means then I have to darken the dark parts. Speaking of smudging, for those of you guys who draw, do you smudge much? I'm kind of surprised I'm smudging a lot. I don't usually. But I think it's because I'm trying to get the tones in there. And I'm trying to let some of the highlights be a little more dramatic than they actually are. I think that's going to help a lot. And by the way, everybody, in case you're wondering why I just started in the middle of a drawing, is because the first 2 streams I did in Art Club. Art Club has its own exclusive video library. And so we oftentimes have live streams in Art Club. And because it's such a small group, I really can pull people's stuff up to talk about their drawing, and that's been really nice to be able to give people that kind of attention. And I look at stuff here, obviously, but it's like I can't really spend a lot of time because there's a bunch of people. And so that's been really fun, doing streams with smaller groups in art club. I feel like I totally lost the clavicle. Sheesh. Yeah, that's really bad. I'm trying to get a little more attention in here because this is an area, it's like super bony. Your clavicles are like right there. Oh my God, it looks like I did nothing, you guys. Oh, so much smudging. I think that's really screwing with me. Like, I'm not used to smudging that much. And actually down here too, this is the external oblique. So I'm going to do a lot of hatching to show the roundness of that. That's a really big muscle. That is definitely a muscle that needs to pop and have a lot of volume. Yeah, so I guess I just like said goodbye to the hatching. I can bring it back. For now, I don't think I want it back. But let's bring back, this highlight is pretty strong. And if I just touch up, okay, that feels a little bit better. I am going to shoot a photo so everybody can see, and I will put it in the Discord so you guys can see closer up. And I'll also take a close-up of that part of the figure that I worked on. Okay, let's see what people are doing in the Discord. You guys can see here, I've posted some images of my supplies. And then the other thing I also did is these were the earlier versions. So this is the very beginning, and you guys can see it looks like nothing. You got to start there. And then you can see how abstract this is. Like, this is the rib cage, leg, still no facial features. And these parts of the drawing I really did spend a long time on, because when I know I'm doing a long pose drawing, I really want to make sure that things are in place. Like, I don't want to have to be like messing around and redrawing things. So you can see here, I'm starting to get a better hold onto the torso. And this is like probably an hour and a half in. It takes me that long to sift out some of the anatomical stuff. And here, this is the very end, where I just quickly blocked in with the side of the compressed charcoal. And this is where I start pressing down more. So here I've blocked in the darks, but I've also done a little bit of smudging to push the crayon around. And then this is the one where I added the cross hatching. Let me zoom way in so you guys can really see the hatching, which is now gone. It's okay. So if you guys look at this, you have hatching here that follows the roundness of the pectoralis. Same thing here, these round strokes that show the serratus muscles. They look like little bumps on the side. And then there's hatching in here, again, showing the roundness of the thigh. So that's where I started today. And if you guys want to see a better version of what I'm doing right now, this is where I am right now with the torso. All the cross hatching is gone. Oh my gosh. And it's not a waste of time, because I feel like the cross hatching is a really good way for me to investigate the form, like to think about the volume of the form. And then here's the full piece right now. So that's what we're looking at. Okay, let's take a look at some of the comments. Okay. I know, I'm sad too. It's fine. I mean, the thing that's hard about this is when I do a live demo, it's so fractured. If I could just sit down and work on this for 4 hours, it probably would be way better. However, I totally made that torso way too bright in the beginning. And so you can always put things back. I mean, that's the thing about a drawing. The progression does not need to be linear. And there is a lot of putting in, taking away, putting in. And I'm okay with that. That's just the way things are. Okay. I think we have a question here from Missa. Would anyone be interested in an art book section for art club? I've been reading more about art and really enjoying it. Oh, I'll have to ask the other people in the group because I have been adding quite a few new channels to Art Club, but I know one of the things that is challenging is if there's too many channels, people start to get overwhelmed really quickly. So, Missa, how about I ask other people in the group? Because the other thing that we've also been using is we do have a channel called Inspiration. And so there, like today, I was talking to Marley's about tiles in Portugal. But let's see. Remind me, Missa. I'm going to forget. Jen says, I feel like I always regret it when I start smudging because then it feels out of place. I think the thing about smudging is that it's just so smeary. And so what happens is you sort of make everything look really soft. That's my issue with smudging. And so that's why I do a lot of eraser work, because the eraser work does provide a degree of tension that the smudging doesn't. And that helps me a lot, is to draw with my erasers. So 414 says an art book section, how would that work? Oh, okay. Well, for those of you guys who are not in the Discord, it's a pretty fun place, if you ask me. And basically, we have the public channel. So like right now, I'm posting in live streams and events. This is the Artlong's channel. And so this is where I'm posting stuff for this live stream. So everybody can see the reference and stuff like that. And then, of course, we have general chat. Like this is sort of the main place where a lot of people just come to chat and socialize. But you will see in the art club area, so first of all, we have news channels, so people can stay up to date. Like if I ever do a video reply, I'll post it there. And then we have like an introductions channel, people can meet each other. Oh boy, the art supplies channel, very busy. There's so much to talk about. Oh, and actually, this is super cute. I have to show you guys this. I think this is just adorable. So we just made this channel the other day, and it's called Draw Me. And so everybody will put in a post. So this is Lauren. And this is a post that's all photos of Lauren. And so people can come in here and use these as reference images for whatever it is that they want to practice. Like this is a thread for Deepti and her cat Merchi. And look at this, is so cool. Dana did this drawing of Deepti. So this is really fun because I know a lot of people are always like looking for things to draw. So this is something we set up in Art Club that's been really, really fun. Kat has some beautiful photos. Like look at these, are all her like travel photos. Like these are all like beautiful. So this is a really fun channel that we just set up that I'm really enjoying. And then there's channels for exhibiting, inspiration, selling. We have a bunch of people working on a series, and that's really fun to keep each other accountable. Show and tell, we just show our work. Social media, this is people who need help with their Instagram, setting up their website. I know some people are teaching, whether online or in person. Wellness is a very important channel. That's where we come and we support each other and we post cute pictures of our pets to make us happy. Wins is a nice place to say, hey, I had a win this week, and we can all help each other out. Party chat is sort of like general. It's like you just talk about things. There's open studios. There's also the critique channels here. So there's a lot of cool things happening in there, and it's a lot easier to get to know people because it's much smaller of a group. So hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, exactly, Missa. Just posting whatever books you happen to be reading. And you guys can do that in the public channels too. Like you can come into general chat and just be like, hey, I read this really cool book. Ginger's asking deadline to get the book for the MFA chats. Okay, well, we are doing the MFA chats. I'm going to go to the page. So these are coming up, MFA portfolio Q&A chats, because you want to make a killer MFA portfolio to get in. And we did, Ginger, have that ebook deal, but that ended yesterday. However, you can still register for the event. If you do one session, it's 40. If you do two, it is 60. And then we have a registration form. But anybody who's wondering about an MFA, this is the time to get the right information, because I talk to so many people and they want help with their MFA. And sometimes I talk to people and we figure out that actually they don't want an MFA because it's not the thing that's going to really help them. And so my feeling is, if you're even thinking about an MFA, you need the right information now, before you've started the portfolio, before you've done research for the schools. These are really great because you'll meet other people who are thinking the same thing, and also find out if it really actually is a good match for the things that you want to do. Oh yeah, Missa, I did. It's so embarrassing. I began to read that book, and I think I read like a third of it. It's by Nell Painter, History of Color Charts. So Nell Painter, in case you guys didn't know, she's like a renowned historian. And I think she was like 60 or something. She decided to go back to school. She went to Rutgers, and she also did her graduate degree at RISD. And it's a really interesting read. I suck at reading. I know it's really, really stupid. Yeah, that's a really good observation from George. Can't get over how light the early stages are. I always get too dark too quick. Yeah, I think it's because we want to feel like there's something solid we can hold on to at the beginning. But it's like the beginning's not like that. It's just like moving things around so many times. Oh, okay, I guess we're getting some peer pressure from Ginger, who also would like an art book section. Oh, I'm sorry, 414. So I don't walk people through tech support on the live streams. However, if you make a Discord account and you get in there, we can help you so much with all of those things. So let me show everybody where that is. If you go to artprof.org, you want to go to the menu bar, and you go to Discord. And here we have a short video you guys can watch. And this just gives you the overview of certain things that we have to help you settle in. And Discord's also where we do workshops. Anybody can sign up for those. Art Club as well. And then we have step-by-step instructions for how to join. So this link is in the description below. It should be under the spot that says join our Discord, but we have a fabulous mod team. We have screenshots telling you how to get into the server. So if you go to this page, you'll be able to get in there. And you can totally do it on your phone. You don't have to be on your desktop for that. Ginger says gesture drawings are fun because there's an ending. This could go on. Yes, George, it could go on forever. And it sometimes really does. Also, Alexandria says, I don't know if you watch peyote. What is that? But I find the models deflate as time goes on. I don't really do long sitting pieces. I use reference photos. I mean, I wish I had a artist model crew at my beck and call, but not right now. Maybe someday. You know what I've always wanted, everybody? Okay, what is your artist dream? My artist dream is to have a bona fide studio, like a big ass studio that is not in my house. And I just feel like it's never going to happen, you guys, because you know something? There was a New York Times article yesterday about Lorna Simpson, who is an amazing artist. And she has a solo show at the Metropolitan in New York right now. And they said in the article that she was selling her studio. And they were saying things like, oh, yeah, she had it built for herself. It was this, I don't know if it was a brownstone, but it's like a really big building. They're like, oh, yes, and the building has spaces. I'm like, oh, my God. Like, how? How do people have art studios like this? I don't understand. I've always had to just carve out something at home. And I'm just complaining now. I know I shouldn't. I feel lucky to have what I have. But it's like I read these articles about these artist studios. I'm like, who are these people? Okay, well, I'm glad I'm not the only one with awkward situations. Ginger says, yesterday, went to an arcade with my roommate. It was fun, but we ran into some of his friends. I kind of was just there. I know, it's so awkward. I hate that stuff. And George says, working at EPA, did compliance inspections. We'd arrive unannounced, just knock on the door and introduce ourselves. Once we arrived, just as the environmental manager was sneaking out early. Gosh. Huey says, I'd take the Geneva paints off your hands for free. You know, I really should someday do a plein air video with oils. We have some people in art club doing that, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm just so lazy. Like, I really should try it someday. And that's what those Geneva paints would be very good for, is like the alla prima plein air stuff. June's asking, using charcoal pencil here, but liquid charcoal is what is used for the drawing basics track. Why? Actually, it's wet charcoal. Liquid charcoal is another thing. But one of the reasons that is part of the drawing track, which I can show you guys right now, it is on our site. And if you guys can't find something, the best way to find something is to use a search bar. Like, just come in here and type drawing track. You'll find it a lot more easy. Okay, so if you guys look at the drawing track, we have all these different lessons. And so the idea is that every lesson works a different muscle of the drawing experience. And a lot of this is like thumbnails and texture, self-portrait. And this last one, I ask you to use wet charcoal techniques. And this is largely a lesson that is here to help people really loosen up. Because that is a fundamental thing about drawing that I think is really critical, is learning how to loosen up and not add a million details. And that is a material where you cannot be tight. Nobody is capable of doing a wet charcoal drawing that's super detailed. Lisa, I like being around people that I need a task. That's true. For my wedding, my mother-in-law, the bread fairy, we all prepared the rehearsal dinner together, and it was so nice because we were like doing something. And so we were together talking, but we're also doing things. And I felt like, oh, that really took the pressure. It's like when you're like at a party and you're just like standing there and talking. Oh, I hate that stuff. And just scrolling back to make sure I'm getting to all the comments. Karen, my bedroom has always been 25% art studio. know, plain air with oils, though, I'm like, oh, I have to bring all the solvent and all the material. I know, I'm so lazy. I really should try it, though. Oh, I know, Courtney, there's actually a program, I think it's called Silver Art Projects, but the residency is that you get a sprawling studio, and I think they're in a skyscraper somewhere in New York. So that really would be nice. You should join 414. We would love to chat with you over there. Because you guys, you know what? The Discord, I spend most of my time there. Most of the time in the Discord is with Art Club, doing voice sessions and chatting with people. I don't have as much time to spend in the public channels, but I do. I mean, that's where I really feel like I get to know people. So join the Discord. It's really, really fun. Okay, let's get back into this. I feel like I better work on the legs. I don't want to, though. I'm going to do a tiny bit more up here with the charcoal pencil, and then pretty quickly I'm going to move on. I just feel like I smeared out everything now. And I want to just solidify some of these clavicles. Like the neck too, I added way too much. At the very least, I'll have something better in terms of the tone. So I think I just was too timid with the charcoal pencil the last time I did the stream. By the way, weekend plans, anybody? Most of the time, my weekends, I just want to like do nothing. Some days I'm like, oh, I'm going to get ahead. I never get ahead. Although I was pretty proud of myself that I finished of those stomach pieces. I finished one belly button, the burned one, and the other one. So now I have 3 pieces that are done for that series. I never thought I was going to get off my ass to do it. And that feels pretty good. It's like, wow, I can actually do this. Because I always think there's that thing in the beginning of a project where you're like, is this going to work? I don't know. But then you try it and you realize it is viable, and that was a nice thing for me to experience. Okay, I just want to solidify this edge. Make that really clear. Oh, and actually there's a little bit of hair here, which I should also make darker. Okay, let me move down to the legs. The right leg is like disappearing, so I think I have to work on that part. So let me get over there. Yeah, like I totally like did not work on the foot at all. Yeah, I think I better. Yeah, look at that foot. It's terrible. It's like there's nothing. Let's really work on the foot for a bit. Actually, move this over. Brandon says K-pop Demon Hunter. That sounds really fun. I'm not a K-pop person, but I know a lot of people really enjoy it. Hang on, I gotta move my mic a little better. Okay, that should work. Okay, let's work on the part I have been totally ignoring this whole time. Actually, I should push it up a little so you guys can see more of the knee, because the knee is pretty important. Okay. So I want to get the gastrocnemius, that's the calf muscle, more substantial. And the kneecap is right here. I always use the kneecap as a landmark. Okay, and then here, that's like your, well, so this is your shin, and then this is a muscle here. I think the thing about the leg is like you really have to understand how to separate the upper part of the leg versus the lower part of the leg. And so sometimes people don't show that separation, and that's where it gets kind of confusing. So that's where the gastrocnemius up here is very helpful. But I'm also trying to find the end of the gastrocnemius, which I think I put it too low. So I'm going to trim. I put it way too low. His gastrocnemius is not that big. I'm just doing some squinting because I have to keep in mind where things, actually this muscle's pretty pronounced. Let's make this really dark. How many people here have studied anatomy? How many people here maybe have done some, but not a lot? How many people here know nothing about anatomy? Which is of course fine. Because a lot of people, when they first start learning anatomy, they'll say to me, well, shouldn't I learn the anatomy before I draw? And I actually think that's not a good idea, because anatomy is about really specific things. And if you go for the specifics first, it's actually quite confusing. I think it's much better to just draw without any anatomical knowledge. And then once you've had that experience, you can go in and start to learn some of that stuff. This is also way too bright. Ugh. That was my mistake. I think I did not make the figure have as much like rich tone when I first started, and now I'm kind of paying for it. Like this knee is so much darker than I made it. It's just these two little highlights up there. Maybe Buddy knew what he was doing when he smeared my painting, my drawing. So I'm trying to make that area look a little rigid, because this is a kneecap. And then some mild highlights so that it doesn't get too smudgy. Yeah, that's a lot better. Like I had it so light before. I don't know why I did that. And then there really is like a flat plane here. Okay, let's get back to this leg. Still going in with compressed charcoal. Still want to keep it fairly simple because I'm still working these things out. This one's the same. It's like I made that kneecap so light. Sometimes I think it's just hard to draw dark. Do people ever feel like it's a little intimidating to put down like a really dark line? Because I don't mind it, but it's like I have to have a certain degree of confidence to feel like that's okay. Okay, so here I am going to do that thing. I'm just going to make the foot really dark. Darker than it needs to be. And I'll pull out some of those highlights. Feet are weird. I think they're really hard to draw. How many people here think feet are hard to draw? Because I think they are. It's like the toes are really strange. Okay, that is like definitely too wide. And I do spend a lot of time drawing around things. So sometimes I'll block it out and then reshape it from the outside. I think sometimes that's a good way to go about doing things. This is his Achilles tendon. And that is a structure that's really important in a foot. Achilles tendon it's a big deal in figure drawing. It's such a gigantic, I think it's like one of the bigger tendons in the body. And so if you injure it, it's like really bad. Okay, so now let's pull out a little bit more structure, specifically some of the highlight here. And it's weird that there's like a little bit of reflected light down here at the bottom. I think it's just coming from the white surface. And so that's reflected light. It's not the light that's coming from the right. See, like there's certain parts of the body that I think are weird looking, but it's like kind of okay that they're weird looking, like a nose. But I feel like with a foot actually has a pretty complex structure. And to make the foot really look convincing, it's like you have to know, like, what is the organization of the toes? What's going on with the ankle bone, which I have not put in yet. I should do that right now. And I think toes really confuse people because we just think they're like these little things that stick out, but they actually do have a structure to themselves. And I think in the feet, you like absolutely learn the anatomy because the anatomy is really going to help you. There's other parts where I think you can kind of get away with not looking at the structure so clearly, but a foot I really think is necessary because people don't realize how much bone is in the foot. I think that's what's difficult because we look at the foot, we just go, oh, toes. We don't look at the other stuff. Like this is the stuff that matters. It's the structures. So like here's the Achilles tendon. And then I'll do a little highlight around here to show a bit of the ankle bone. And I need to totally fix this kneecap. This kneecap is really bad. Super soft. I want it to have more structure. Whoops. I mean, I think what's hard about anatomy is we look at things and we go, oh, bump, bump, bump. That's round. But what anatomy does is it helps you understand, like, is that a bone I'm looking at? Am I looking at a muscle? And so once you can like identify what it is, that's a really, really big help. Probably is too dark still. I spend a lot of time drawing around the leg. Okay, we're going to try to get the ankle bone a little stronger. More Achilles heel action. And the heel, I think, is too low because this foot, the bottom is actually it's pretty straight. I think I made it too bumpy. Because anytime you have a foot, it's like you want to be looking at that contact point, like where it's actually touching the ground. Okay, that's not so bad. It still needs so much work. Oh my God, like I'm not even close, you guys. But let me take some photos of this part I just did, and then I will take a look at the comments. Okay. This is going into the Discord. Let me just change my mic. Here we go. Okay. 414 says, drawing an entire person is difficult. Getting it right for me is anyways. One thing that I think really helps people is to get out of the mindset of this is right, this is correct. Because I just think every time we draw a figure, everything we're doing is an approximation. And to be honest, I find figure drawings that are extremely accurate boring. I'm interested in the artist's eye. And you think about it, the closer you get to matching correctly what's happening in the drawing, the less of your artistic interpretation that goes into that. Because a lot of artists who I just adore do not make realistic looking figures. And to me, that's where the interest is. Now, I understand some people really want to be able to do that because they feel like, okay, I need those skills so I can do that if I want to. But I just don't think it's necessary. I think, yes, you want a degree of experience and competence that you feel good about. But I oftentimes think people think they need 150% of skill when really 75 is okay. And so there's a degree where you're demanding so much of yourself when really it's like ultimately you don't need all those things. Randy says, foreshortened feet, especially from the back, are hard. Oh, I know. It looks so weird. It's like, I don't have very much to draw from that point of view. That can be very, very confusing. Like anytime you have a view where like a whole section of a body part is not visible, that can really mess with you a lot. Philistinic, I took anatomy classes, but at the time I just wanted to animate like Ren and Stimpy and Rocco's Modern Life. Now I do more figure drawing. Oh, I think figure drawing is so helpful for learning how to do cartoons and animation. I think it just really gets you thinking about gesture very differently because it's being articulated through animation. But also I think it's just like the speed, because with storyboarding, with just sketching characters and stuff in general, it's like you don't want to invest that kind of time into those pieces because you want as many options as you can to pick from. Brian says, this spring I took a class in figure drawing at the Alexandria Art League. I got an introductory on how to draw anatomy. Well, that's great. How many people here have had the opportunity to take or go to a life drawing session or a class? Because I know it's difficult to have access to that. Some people just don't have the access. But if you are in a situation where that becomes a possibility, it's a great experience to have. Okay, so I did see somebody posted in Art-Alongs, and it is a piece from Manette, started on the Art Dare, portion of a deer skull. Oh, close-ups of different parts of the skull. So if people don't know what we're talking about, the Art Dare is a monthly art challenge that we give to people. And this month, the art challenge is to make art in any media, but it cannot be bigger than 2 inches by 2 inches. And it's been really fun seeing so many ways people are doing it. Like this is Max figuring out the scale, and this is really cool. A lot of people have been making like these grids so you can see the multiple pieces all at once. Oh, this is Neha. This is actually from the other Art Dare. This is last month's Art Dare, which is breakfast. And you can always do that. You can share an old Art Dare. You just have to tell us that it is. Otherwise, we're like, I don't think that's the Art Dare this month. Or Snap Sketch has been doing these 2x2 frames. I know that was an idea that Lisa came up with, which a lot of people are using. So thank you, Lisa, for sharing that. Or you can do things like put like pieces of tape or something. That can be really fun to do as well. Oh, Ginger, who says, I love painting tiny. I feel like I need to loosen up a bit more. Oh, I love these, Ginger. I really like the layering. You really learned how to layer your colors, Ginger. I really noticed that in your work. Okay, so May K has done 3. Oh, this is fun. It's almost like a little narrative sequence. So the art fair is really fun because this is another place where you can learn together. I just think learning is so unnecessarily difficult when you have to learn by yourself. It's just so much more fun to do it with other people. You also get ideas from each other. When you get to see, okay, this is the prompt and this is how other people are doing it, it's really fun. So the art fairs are a great place for some group learning if you're interested, and that is in the public part of the channel. Oh, hey, Carolyn. Haven't chatted with you in a little bit. I've taken a few drawing classes, but it's very far away, so I stopped just because the logistics were exhausting. Classes were amazing, though. Yeah, it's like one of those things. I love it when I go, but sometimes it's really hard, especially if you drive a while, but nothing substitutes life drawing. I use reference photos here because obviously we're doing draw-alongs and understanding this stuff here, but that's always been my dream. I mean, what I really want to do is like rent a studio, hire a bunch of models, and shoot a million reference photos for you guys and make videos of them posing and film me drawing that. Like, that's a huge project I would love to do, but that's going to take a lot. I have to hire models. I have to rent the studio, blah, blah, blah. So someday. Oh, you're here, Snap Sketch. It's like I summoned you because I showed your art fair piece. Yeah, Jen, 10-week life drawing class. Fantastic. A lot of places do have like a drop-in figure drawing session where there's like no instruction, but they have a model. So it's always worth looking around some of the local places. Not everywhere has it, but it's really great. Hey, Brian, where can I go to study art? If you can follow up with something that's a little more specific, what type of instruction you're looking for, whatever materials or genres you want to work on, I can make some recommendations because there's so many places that you can study art now. It's amazing what's available. I'm very biased. I think Art Club is the best place to study because we have so many resources. It's a super lively crowd. Every time I open up the Art Club channels, it's sort of like, you know, one of those video games where you turn it on and it like lights up. I feel like that's what it's like whenever I open the Discord. It's just like really fun because I'm in this other community to help me with business, and I love when I'm learning. But there's not that like back and forth. And so it kind of makes me not want to post because I feel like a dork if I'm just like asking a lot of questions. It seems like I'm kind of annoying people. But in Art Club, just everybody's posting all the time. And so you never have to feel like, oh, I'm posting too much. People are going to think I'm crazy. And I found that to be very important. I wish that that other community had that, like, just quick things. Because sometimes I don't want to have a full-out discussion. I just have, like, a quick question. And we also have Ginger. When I draw feet, they end up looking like Barbie feet. I mean, Barbie feet are not that far off. Macon says, love your art. Thank you for teaching me how to be bold with my marks and make a mess. Keep up the wonderful work. Well, I'm so glad you could get on the live stream with us today, Macon, because you know something, the boldness that you need to draw, I think that's one of the hardest things, because anybody can make marks, but having a mindset like I'm going to draw, that's not easy for a lot of people. I think especially if you don't have a ton of experience, maybe you feel like you don't have so much confidence in your skills. It takes a while to work up to. It's not something that you can learn overnight, but I'm so glad that that has helped you, Macon. I don't know if I'm saying your name right, but anyway. Okay, let's get back into this. I think I better work on the other leg. So just give me a minute. I have to reposition my camera because the other leg and the foot are not good right now. Okay. I think that should be better. Oops. The hand and the foot are pretty dark, and I think I did not do a great job with them last time. I'm going to just cover this whole arm. I'm just going to smudge it again. Because, again, I just like, I don't know, maybe I was just like being kind of timid last time. And the hand is really bad. I really did not work on this. Tell me in the comments, as an artist, have you had a moment where you felt like all of a sudden you had confidence in something? Not everything, but just when you realize, oh, I can do that. Because sometimes that moment takes a really long time to have. That's just the way it is when you're learning things. But I definitely have had times where I felt like, oh God, I'm never going to learn this. Has anybody felt that way? You sort of have to start there. Nobody starts out knowing what to do. But I know I experienced that quite a bit with social media, especially social media. I really had to learn. How many people here got to see the video of my former students' families museum? Because I had so much fun helping her with those reels. And one of the things that I said to her was, listen, social media, people think it's very hard. It is very hard still. I'm not saying it's not. But people don't realize that there really is a science to social media. And once I started thinking about it that way, oh yeah, science has formulas. Science has certain structures that we know we can rely on as concepts. And once I started looking at social media that way, I really treated it like a scientific study. It's like, okay, let's try this. Okay, that was the result. Now let's change it to something else. And so I was explaining to Helena about the reels. I said, listen, I know what works. I know if we do this, we will get this result. And her museum just started their Instagram. They don't have a ton of stuff up there just yet. But I think in the beginning, it's like, you don't believe me. You go, nah, that's not true. And then you listen to me and you get results. It's like, oh, it is a science. So we have a bunch of people right now in Art Club who are working on their Instagrams. And so the first thing I always do is I just review it. Just give them the overall thing, create a strategy. But I think what's really confusing, and tell me if you guys have been told this as well, people think social media is all about consistency. And it is about it in terms of you can't just post once every 3 months. Like, yeah, you have to do more than that. But people don't realize that consistency is not always a good thing, because sometimes people end up posting a lot of things just to post. They say, I got to be consistent. I have to keep posting. But then by doing so, you're actually not posting good content, because to fulfill that need to be consistent and post all the time, you're actually making content that can hurt you long term. So I was talking to somebody today about how to make a strategy. And I said, listen, you don't have to be consistent the way people think you do, but you do need to have a strategy. You do need to know what is the goal. Like, so many times I work with people on their Instagrams, mentoring or an art club, and I talk to them and it becomes very clear that they've been barking up the wrong tree. And so that's one thing I try to do is I say, listen, these things do not matter. These things actually do. And most people don't know, because why would you know? I spend so much time thinking about this stuff. But that's one thing I developed a confidence in, is in the beginning, I had no idea. I just was like, hey, I think I'll try this, which is a good way to figure things out. But I know for the longest time, I was just like so bewildered by social media. And now I'm not. I feel like I understand it now. I know what the science is. I know what works. And it's all very specific. But Helena, I mean, she's so fantastic. She was such a great student when I had her at RISD, and she picked it up so fast. And her reel, where her dad talks about those bricks in China, I mean, it hit like 130,000 views on Instagram, because he's such a charming person. He's super knowledgeable. And I was just so happy to help them, because I was like, listen, you guys are great. You just don't know how social media works. I'll explain it to you. Boom, it worked. I'm not saying I always know how things are going to go. Certainly there are times where I post things and I was like, this is going to do well, and it didn't. That's true. But I think I'm a lot better about like, okay, I think it's going to do this, as opposed to a long time ago where I'm like, why? I don't get it. Why did that do well? I have no idea. And now I think I do know. Okay, we're doing a little cross-hatching up here. Just pressing a lot harder. That's the other thing, is I think the last time I did the cross-hatching, I didn't press down very hard. And so that's probably another reason. Let me make this a little brighter. I think it's getting a little dark. Is that better? Yeah. So that, for me, that was a moment where I was like, okay, I kind of know what I'm doing. And it feels good when you figure things out and you're like, okay, this is not as mysterious or as frustrating as it used to be. And I really liked that. And it takes time. It took us years to figure this stuff out. It's not something that we did quickly. And really the way we did it was we just kept trying things. We said, hey, let's try this. Oh, that didn't work. Let's try this. And sometimes it really is that tedious. But I mean, if you're stubborn about it like I was, it can get good results. And I feel pretty good about what we've been able to do in terms of reels and trying to get them to really reach the audience. Because you guys are the best audience. Like sometimes I look at other art channels, I'll just look at the videos, and I always read the comments. Actually, tell me in the comments, how many people here write comments on channels? Because, I was thinking about it. I was like, I never write comments on videos, and I watch plenty of videos, and I was like, why? I don't really get it. Maybe I'm lazy. Well, you guys know I'm lazy from all my plein air stuff. But anyway, and sometimes I'll look at the comments, and the comments are really short, or they're like emojis, and that's fine. I'm not judging anyone's comments, but you guys are awesome, and we get really smart comments on our channel, which I just love. Because I think you have the audience that your content matches. So, for example, not all art channels talk about ancient art at museums, but we do attract people who do like ancient art in museums. And that's the other thing. It's like I want to attract that kind of person, the person who can really appreciate the history and who wants to understand those things. And of course, we have plenty of people here who are not interested in ancient art and history, and that's fine. You don't have to appreciate everything. But I didn't realize that for the longest time. I was like, based on the type of content you put out there, you start to attract a very particular type of audience. Our audience is very smart and nerdy. And so we happen to get really excellent comments. I used to think of the comments as, oh, okay, this is people supporting me. And that's true. But actually, our audience is so smart, you guys, that most of the time when I read them, it's like somebody explaining something to me. somebody saying, oh, I'm a mechanic, I understand this type of oil does this. And so in that way, I feel like a lot of the comments in our videos are an extension of what we talk about in the videos. And I just think that's really cool that that is the case. I still feel like I'm getting a little too light here. It's hard because I see like the nuances in here, but it's fundamentally very dark. Like some of these dark areas I just really underestimated the last time around. Like this really should be very dark. Like I need this thigh to pop. And I'm using the charcoal pencil because the charcoal pencil is just like really stable. It's very easy for me to go in and do those things. Oh dear, it did get really smudgy. I need a break. Okay, I'm gonna put some of this stuff into the Discord in case people want to see where it's going. I'm gonna do some close-ups of the foot and also the knee, and that way you guys can take a look at that. Okay, let me go into the Discord, see if anybody is doing stuff in Arlongs, and it's no problem if you're not, because if I was not on the stream, I would probably be plopped on the couch. My family and I, we just finished Squid Game. Okay, who was disappointed? I feel like this season was really bad out of all of them. I feel like this is the one where I just was like, come on. And you know what else? Maybe you guys can tell me this as well. I feel like half of Squid Game, the most recent season, was voting. It was like, okay, let's take 10 minutes to show people, oh, let's build up to people voting. I'm like, oh my God, we could just do boom, 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 votes, have that done in like 30 seconds. I just was like, how many times can we build up the suspense of who's going to vote? That really drove me crazy. Tell me in the comments if you saw it and what you think, because I was so irritated by that voting thing. Okay, so you guys can see here, I think I definitely have improved in terms of getting the darker tone. Why is that so out of focus? Let me take a different photo. I think that one is bad. Maybe I had to clean my lens. Okay, let's try it. Okay, we'll get this into the Discord so you guys can take a look. See if this is a better version. Oh, maybe it just didn't load. Okay, this is better. So if you guys look at this, you can see, well, let me zoom in. Oh, that's what really zoomed in. Okay, maybe that's not as zoomed in as we want. Okay, anyway, if we come down here and we look at the thigh, okay, you can see the marks, and those are going in a round direction. So we show the roundness of the thigh. And here too, these are cross-hatched marks that are inside the tone. And if you zoom out, you can start to see here as well, right by the external oblique. Okay, so this is the external oblique. So there's some hatching. I kind of wish there was more. Maybe I'll go back and do another pass and just like press really hard. Like maybe this thigh could use a little more. Yeah, let me just do it fast because that's like really bothering me now. Okay, hang on. It's this leg. Let me move that over. Let's like really go to town on the cross hatching, everybody. Okay, so it wasn't just me, Randy. Yeah, that last season was so freaking painful. I just was like, oh my God, why? What are we doing? Why are we destroying this? I will never understand. Let's do really aggressive charcoal hatching. That's what I'm missing. I have not done a good job with this. I was being really careful before, but let's go wild. Let's like really go to town. Okay, I'm totally losing this hand in the process. Oh, I can hear Buddy scratching at the door. He like wants to come help, which he already did. Oh, just gonna make this hand really dark. This hand needs a lot of work as well, but let's just like, why did I let the drawing be so light? That was like such a mistake that I made. This feels good. I like feeling more aggressive about the process. Did anybody else see the Squid Game final season? Ugh, I was really disappointed. I mean, I also hate it when they release these like half seasons. Older folks, do you remember when a single season was like 15 episodes and it's like you could really get into the show? And now it's like you just start to get into it and then the season ends. It's like such a bummer. But maybe if you're younger, you're not as used to that. Like that's the way it always used to be. And now it's so frustrating. Okay, let's get back. Well, no, let me do a little more on the leg. Oh, it's maybe a little too much. But this feels good to get in here and really show my strokes. How many people here do cross-hatching or enjoy doing cross-hatching? I love it. I find it very, very relaxing. And I enjoy feeling like I'm really sculpting the form. Whoops, sorry, let me move over. I'm getting into the torso more. I do see a question from June, who is asking what charcoal for the drawing track is a medium to encourage loose drawing. Is there something else you'd recommend? Anything that doesn't have a sharp tip, like pencil has a sharp tip. Sharp tips are usually what make people tighten up. And anything that's chunky or any material where you can't really control it 100%. Like a pencil, you can control that 100%. But when it comes to something like watercolor, you can't control it all the time. It's got a mind of its own. And I think that's a pretty big part of that. And actually, I'm going to do some hatching with the eraser stick. Oh yeah, cool. I didn't even think about that. That'll be really helpful for the abdominal muscles. Oh, I like that, you guys. Oh, I'm so glad I thought to do that. That was not something I was thinking about earlier, but it's helping me, I think. Oh, cool. Yeah, I like that, you guys. That's so fun. Okay, this is getting fun. I think I was getting a little precious before, but now it feels like I'm starting to really draw rigorously, which is my favorite thing, is to have that rigor in the mark. Yeah, that's cool, you guys. I like that. Oh, that's really livening up the hatching. I'll pull out some, maybe that's a little too dark. Okay, let's go back to the charcoal pencil. I think this will help. Oh, I'm very pleasantly surprised. I'm so glad that I went back to the cross hatching, because now it's starting to feel more active. It's like really mushy before. Yeah, like there you can see the roundness. I know it looks a little scratchy maybe to some people, but I sort of like it. Oh, cool. Oh, you guys, I'm getting excited now. Okay. Wasn't feeling that great about it before, but I think it's now starting to come together with the hatching. Just being more aggressive with the hatching. Okay, and that might help me with the knee to just really press down hard. Oh, yay. I'm happy, everybody. Wasn't feeling it so much before, but now with the rigorous hatching, I feel like it is starting to come together. I feel better about the abdomen. I feel like that was getting really confusing. But I think it was just the lack of explanation I was doing with the hatch marks. And you can see I'm going over things multiple times. So even if all the hatching just ends up looking like tone, it's like it's still, for me, a process of building the form. I'm still going to add the highlights, but oh shoot, I have that a little bit too low. I think the kneecap's a little high. Switch that up a little bit. Okay, that's a little better. I think the leg. This arm is tricky because in the reference photo, it's like really black. It just really feels like there's like no form at all. That's where photos can really get you in trouble. Because if we look at that part of the figure, it just looks like nothing. It just looks like flat black. It looks really bad. And it's like, what do you do with that? It's really hard. Like, I was talking to somebody in an art club voice chat, and they had this reference photo. And I knew something was weird about the chin because it looked like somebody had like drawn like a stripe across the chin. And I was like, okay, that's sort of weird looking. Show me the reference. And the reference, it actually was a woman who was like standing next to a window, and the window panes were casting this like stripe of shadow across her chin. And I was like, well, that's it. It's not you. You drew it just fine. I'm moving up. Let me just push upwards, you guys. I just want to get to the upper part. And so that was an instance where that really messed with her drawing, not because she was a bad artist, but because the photo made it very difficult to use. And so that's why I'm always on people I'm always getting on people to make sure you're getting a reference that really makes sense, because that one did not make sense. Okay, he definitely needs more. Ooh, no. I made his trapezius muscle like so small. So I'm just going to bulk it up. Oh, the head needs so much work. But I need to get in the structure of the neck first. I think the neck was like really suffering. This is much better. And then maybe some hatching on the deltoid, which is the shoulder muscle. This will get really round. Gotta press harder. Cool. I love cross hatching. I don't know. I just find it really satisfying. And then the tone in the charcoal like really feels like it's activating things. Oh, I know this muscle, brachioradialis. I saw you there. I saw you peeking out. I'm also hatching in the other direction, making sure I keep that really rigorous. It's still like not close, you guys. It still needs like, it probably still needs like another 2 live streams for this to really come together. There's a really strong highlight in the middle. And the other one that's even stronger is the one that's here. So that one I'm going to let pop and trim it a little bit. But I still want like the roundness of this to come into play. Ooh, I'm getting happy, everybody. Oh, that's fun. I'm still not done, you guys, but I feel like I feel pretty good about the tone now and the hatching. And I'm going to just take some close-ups so you guys can really see the hatch marks really well, because I'm pretty happy with how that came out. Okay, so I'm going to put these into the Discord, and you guys can see better up close what that is going to look like. Okay, so let's take a look in the Discord. Okay, I'll show you guys what the close-up looks like. I think I did see somebody post, but maybe I'm imagining things. Okay, so June says, so if the reference photo gives you a flat block, you put in your own hatching by what you know is in there. Yes, or I will sometimes take the photo. Let me see if I can, I have to pull up the censored version. Sometimes I'll take the image and I'll brighten it a lot, so that way I can see some shadow that makes it look not so flat. Sometimes that does work. So you guys can see here the hatching. See it pretty well here. You can see I press pretty hard. And also this is the lower part of the torso. I think that's really fun. I'm glad that I decided to go all in on that. Okay, the head needs like so much work. Like that's another stream, the head. But if you guys come into the Discord, you can see better what that looks like. Yeah, oh God, the head is so bad. Head needs a lot of work. Let's see what people are saying. Carolyn's asking, when will workshops be starting up again? I'm not totally sure. My August is kind of busy. We may wait until the fall, September, to do that. But for those of you guys who are looking for learning opportunities, the best bet for us is Art Club, because people are working on all different kinds of projects. We have open studios. I know it's not the same thing as a workshop. A workshop is very focused on a particular technique or subject, but I do think Art Club provides a lot of continuity that you sometimes can't get in a workshop. Hey, Blue Moon. So glad to have you here. Minette says, I often feel like cross-hatching looks bad when I do it. You know something, Minette? I bet you anything, you're just not doing enough. Because most of the time when I look at people's cross-hatch drawings, I'm almost always telling them, you need more. I rarely tell people that they have too much hatching. And so sometimes it's a matter of just adding more and more. People think it's too much. They're like, oh, if I add too much, isn't that a bad thing? It's like, no, actually, that's what brings it together. Oh, Karen says shorter episodes, longer seasons. Actually, we started watching The Wire on HBO. It's a really great show. And that's 1 hour episodes. I actually really like 1 hour episodes because I feel like I can really like immerse myself into the show. And yeah, it seems like Brandon hide and seek episode broke my heart. I know. Well, there was one character that died, and I felt like so bad after that happened. Yeah, what was up with that baby? You guys, I totally think that was a CG baby. I don't think that was a real baby. It just like moved weird. Yeah, okay. Ginger, you got me. I know. I just was like, nothing happened. I've been watching for 15 minutes. Carolyn says, I don't write comments since I'm usually doing something else while I'm listening. Well, I'm so glad that we are an exception for you, Carolyn. We do really try to reply to people. It's sometimes really hard, though, because our channel's so much bigger now. We obviously can't reply to every single person, but that's why the Discord is really nice, because you can like really talk to me there, and there's a back and forth. Like oftentimes on YouTube, you don't really get that so much, where people make a comment, we reply, maybe they reply back again. But Discord is like continuous, in-depth conversation that you don't normally get on a place like Instagram or YouTube. You want the bricks. Yeah, the bricks are beautiful. And I have another one coming out that is going to be really fun for you guys. Oh, this is good. Brandon says, felt that way about portrait drawing for years. I'm just now starting to feel comfortable with drawing faces. I mean, that's a big deal. Portraits are really, really hard, especially in the beginning. Oh, Randy just had that moment learning how to draw shoes. Well, I'd love to see those in the Discord, Randy. I think shoes are a great subject to draw because there's form, but there's so many different textures and shapes in shoes. I think those are a really good subject. Oh, Randy, I should send to you. So we have an album in our free reference photo collection of just shoes. Like I went to the shoe store at like Nordstrom and I just like took all these photos. So I'll link that for you in our club. Well, thank you for popping in, Tara. Brandon says the only baby I could think of that looks worse was the Twilight baby. I don't know. I couldn't bring myself to watch those. Well, 10K, you know something? Every now and then, the New York Times has these quizzes where they show you videos or photos and you have to guess. Is it AI or is it real? Last time I took that quiz, I only got half of the answers right. It's a little scary when you think about, I mean, the technology has advanced so fast. Just in the past year, I feel like you can see the improvements. Like, remember in the beginning, it like couldn't do hands, and now it's like pretty good at a lot of things. Okay, so Randy has an artist dream. It's to take a shorter time with drawings and still be satisfied. Yeah, I think I'm always trying to do that myself, is trying to be more efficient when I draw, so that it's sort of like good writing. You know, like if you read an essay and it's like super wordy and it's like, oh God, what is this about? Like somebody who's a really good writer doesn't need all those words and they can make something really succinct. Blue Moon says, I haven't heard about cross-hatching since elementary school. Shows how behind I am on the fundamentals. I don't think you're behind. I just think that nobody can objectively look at your skill set and say, okay, those are the weaknesses. I just think that's impossible. And so one of the things that I do when I work with people in mentoring or an art club is I look at all their work and I ask myself, okay, where are the gaps? Because sometimes it's just a matter of, well, you don't know what you don't know. So of course that's a gap. And then there's other things where sometimes we think we're pretty good at something, but then somebody else looks at it and you realize, oh, actually I do have a ways to go. And then there's other things where people are like, I'm so bad at this. And I look at it and I'm like, no, you're not. You're pretty good at it. And so that's where you really need that objective point of view. Trying to figure this out by yourselves, you can't. Like, you have to have somebody who is not you to point those things out. And I tell people a lot, you can't learn things faster, but you can get answers faster. And that is, if anything, what can expedite the learning process, because otherwise we just don't know what we don't know, and we're banging our head against the wall, and that gets really time consuming. If you just get the answers fast, just like I was talking to Ginger about the MFA live chats, it's like, get the right information now, not when you're halfway through your portfolio and then you're told, actually, that was not right. Oh, I like this, George. There's no good writing. It's good rewriting. Exactly. It's like you need all of those revisions. Same thing with art. It's like, why it takes such a long time. All right, everybody. Art Club is a wonderful option because you can stop learning all by yourself, which is always not so fun and really difficult to do. Learn in a small group that are invested with each other. And we also are now offering annual membership in which you get 2 months free. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I will see you next time. Bye.